Let's get it. Let me turn my mic down a little bit. Audio capture. Alright, so let's just get it started. Yes, sir. Let's get it. All right.
That glimmer of hope you see, that's me.
Hopefully nobody leaves. Excuse me. Let's get this party started. You can hear the screech from the beach. The ground start moving like creatures on leash. I see it now, it's not the face or the face. Last known so the murder case 36 if you really wanna get. Let's go.
The stars were the question. I was the answer.
Minions have spawned.
I think we got some people AFK.
The mountain reveals the harshest truths of our souls. These journeys aren't just for show.
Let him come back.
The best weapons are beautiful.
First blood.
Demacia was my home, but the stars are my destination. To truly see the stars, I climbed. crystallized. This crystal will never crack. Let me make myself crystal clear. Rest easy. I may be merciful, pardon my sins. Let's climb that mountain, shall we? One of these.
Spirit, he took a lick, kept fighting back. That spirit, man, they so weak, trying to attack my spirit. He took a lick, kept fighting back. That spirit, man, they so weak, trying to attack my spirit.
Each life
Yeah, my name
is
is
a
that.
brand jewel.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Double kill. An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill.
Elegance never helped win a fight, but it never hurt.
Killing spree.
The mountain's question is unique for each of us. But beauty is worth dying for. An aspect work is never done.
Kept fighting back. That spirit, man, they so weak, trying to attack my spirit. He took a lick, kept fighting back. That spirit, man, they so weak, trying to attack my spirit.
I have seen the light too clearly to ever fear the darkness.
We don't have a jungler, that's all.
return, so is hope. Blind them with knowledge.
Fuck.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Shut down. Shut down.
Failure has always been my greatest mentor.
An ally has been slain. Turret rating will soon fall.
Sometimes, life is worth dying. The mountain's mysteries are known. We see beauty in the stars, and they see beauty in us.
Down. Enemy killing spree. Your turret has been destroyed.
I climbed Mount Targa. You did not.
Your turret has been destroyed. You have slain an enemy. Shut down.
Human life is painful. The mountain is restless. Stars. Stars return. We're all headed toward the same inevitable end.
team
beauty
has
and
destroyed a
life.
turret. Enemy killing spree. Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
Wither in my radiance.
Your turret has been destroyed. Shut down.
This world's fragile beauty must be preserved.
An enemy has been slain. Enemy double kill.
The Protector speaks through me. Challenges await.
An ally has been slain.
Always useful.
An ally has been slain.
Fuck.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Shut down.
No rest for the chosen of Targa. Never submit. Easy on the eyes. Don't I know? stars were the question. I was the answer. The mountain reveals the harshest truth.
Has been slain. Shut down. An ally has been slain.
Trojans are believer in the absence of light.
Has destroyed a turret.
The best weapons are beautiful. Crack their resolve. Back in the glow. Demacia was my home. Stars are my destiny.
Damn it! Fuck off of me.
Killing spree.
Damn.
Failure has always been my greatest mentor. To truly see the stars, I climb. makes it always pleasant.
Unstoppable.
My heart is filled with starlight. I give it freely to all.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
We must serve right.
Has destroyed a turret.
Love is simply beauty crystallized.
Life has no meaning, but your death shall.
The stars care not. I may be merciful, but pardon.
Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
Each life is a rare jewel. Let's climb that mountain, shall we?
An enemy has been slain.
A fine addition. Elegance never helped win a fight, but it never hurt. The mountain's question is unique for each of us. The fight never ends. Truth is worth fighting for, but beauty is worth dying. I have seen the light too clearly, whoever fears darkness.
Damn. I tried to fall back.
No, I didn't see stars. Just as the mountain is eternal, so is hope. Sometimes, life is worth dying.
Your inhibitor is respawning soon. An ally has been slain. Godlike.
The mountain's mysteries are known to me. We see beauty in the stars, and they see beauty in us. Targon weeps for you. Let's see how hot things get. Human life is fleeting. A mountain's life less so. Stars. Stars are eternal.
The enemy's inhibitor is respawning soon. Killing
We're all
spree.
headed toward the same inevitable end.
Legendary.
Only to us. The protector speaks through me.
Victory!
Yes, sir.
invite me to the before Robert sees the masses, my team, they see you, Brennan's my team. That's the lead assassin. Masked up, Ain't put my hoodie on. Who's cold? Cold. Nice, that was nice.
Jungling can be one of the most satisfying or tilting roles in League of Legends. You arguably have the most impact in the game, but at the same time, it can be one of the most frustrating positions to play. It's very high risk, high reward, and you definitely need a strong mentality to play this role, or at least know how to slash mute all. Anyways, without further ado, here are 10 things that only jungle mains will understand. Number 1. You get blamed a lot. I wanted to start off with this one because I think it's the biggest point and probably the most notorious as well. Junglers just get blamed for everything that goes wrong. Even if someone tried to fight a 4-0 Darius when they're clearly down, it's somehow still the jungler's fault when they die. If you end up losing the game, you already know whose fault it is. But if you end up winning the game, you'll probably get no recognition at all. Isn't it nice how that works? You could play the most insane jungle game of your life, snowballing every single lane to victory, but you already know that the mid lane who started off 0-2 is still going to get all the honors. Additionally, if an enemy ganks someone on your team and they die, or even if they just die in general, expect a few messages to come your way in chat.
I wish I had a jungler. Can I get some help over here? Jungle diff. Subscriber diff.
Speaking of subscriber diff, only a small percentage of you who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you like my videos, please consider subscribing. Thank you. Number 2. Not getting a leash at the start of the game. You know, I gotta be honest, some people just space out and forget to leash their jungle, like myself. But there are some people that just straight up don't do it. These are also the same type of people later in the game who wonder why the enemy jungle is so much further ahead. But what's worse than this is when the lane leashing accidentally steals the buff. Usually it's with like a burn or a plant at Zyra. But it's always fun to start off the game with no buff and being level 1. That's some good stuff. Number 3. Jungle camps resetting. This one might just be me being stupid, but it's probably one of the most annoying things that can happen. Sometimes you feel like you've kited the camp perfectly, but at the last second, the freaking Gromp or camp starts hopping back to its spot and resetting itself. I've personally had games where I've done this like 5 times in a row. Yeah, not super fun. Number 4. Telling your laners to back up, but they don't listen. Now this one's the worst because what ends up happening is you'll try and warn them that they're about to get ganked, but they'll usually ignore you and be like, whatever bro, I'm getting my cannon minion. And then they end up dying anyways. Or they'll end up pinging you right back thinking you're being toxic. However, the cherry on top is right after they die from the gank when they say something like,
why is that jungler always here?
Number 5. Getting counter jungled by your own team. There comes a point in the game where you not only have to worry about the other team taking your jungle, but your team as well. It's one of those things that just kinda happens, especially when laning phase is over. Now it's one thing if they're taking a camp on the other side of the map and you're not gonna get it, but some people just do it right in front of their jungler when they're just about to take that same camp. Oof. Number 6. Laners not engaging when you're about to gank. This one's pretty straightforward. Sometimes laners won't engage first and will wait for the jungler to go in instead. The enemy team will either get away because of it, or they'll just kill you instead because the laner didn't help in time. Number 7. The team not rotating. I think every jungle main knows how difficult it can be sometimes trying to get your team to rotate for dragons or objectives in general, or even rotate when you're getting invaded. Dying in your own jungle without assistance from your team is a rough way to go. Number 8. Missing your smite. Even if it's a 50-50 and you miss your smite, you know you're getting pinged. On the flip side though, stealing Baron or Drake can be one of the most satisfying things in the game. Especially because you already know the other team is pinging the crap out of their jungler right now. Number 9. Constantly pinging for assistance. This one is just a good old classic. all junglers know the blue flag way too well. It gets dropped around all the time. But the worst is when the laner is feeding and they just don't realize that ganking a 6-0 Alawi is a terrible idea for more than one reason. This happens more in low elo but can still be very annoying. Number 10. Trying to help push a wave under tower. This is also more of a low elo thing, but I guarantee you every jungle main has been pinged sometime or another for this one. Helping push their minion wave into the tower after a successful gank is typically one of the best options because the enemy team loses gold and XP, but sometimes you'll get that dude who thinks all you're doing is taxing their farm. If you are that dude, just know they're trying to help you most of the time. There are some junglers out there that will just go ham on your wave. Honorable mentions go to forgetting to buy a jungle item at the start. I think this actually got better with the new shop, but forgetting to take your jungle item can be a brutal mistake. I had to slip this one in. Also, making someone AFK because you ganked them so much is kinda the best. I'm a terrible person, but it's very satisfying.
Knew I shoulda dodged when he locked in ZAD. I think Zed had enough. IDK where Zed is. Report Zed please.
Now obviously, not all laners are bad, and not all junglers are amazing. But hopefully, this video gives you some perspective through the eyes of a jungle main, or previous jungle main. I play top lane now. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but it's 3 AM in the morning. I'm losing my mind a little. I'm doing things I probably wouldn't usually do. I really don't even know what accent this is. But if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you guys' support. Anyways, please let me know in the comments if I missed anything. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye. Am I an Australian? Am I British? Nobody really knows. What am I doing right now? I need to sleep. Here's 5 minutes of potentially useful League of Legends information. There is a ring around the inhibitor that tells you how much time is left until it respawns. However, in order to see this, you need your quality settings to be high enough. This is known as the Dyrus Flash, which is also considered to be one of the hardest in the game, but it can also be a great tool for escaping. 59% of the teams who get first blood win the game. You can place wards in these really crazy spots. It's a bit tricky, but if you hug the wall and click right here on the waterfall, you can place a ward in the brush. Additionally, you can also place a ward in the tri-brush from here if you do it perfectly. You need to click on this piece of grass and then perfectly click on this mushroom thing. If it's even off by the slightest of margins, it won't work. 71% of teams who take turret first wins the game. If you're a top main and have a better level 1 than your opponent, you can sit in the tri-brush and cheese them for an early first blood or a really good trade after they come up from the leash. This can also work on the other side if you stand here. The worst combinations of drakes is 3 cloud drakes with a win rate of 68.2%. The best combination is an infernal, an ocean, and a mountain, which has an 80.3% win rate. If you're a top lane main, this one is for you. You can actually place a ward in this bush from next to your turret, but it's a little tricky. You need to click on this intersection and then click on the point of the rock. Personally, I haven't always gotten this to work, so you may need to mess around with it a bit. There's a feature called Target Champions Only that can be toggled by pressing your tilde key by default. You can switch it to be a toggle or a press and hold in the settings. You can also change what key this is set to. When activated, it pretty much does what it says. It only allows you to hit champions, which is very convenient when you're tower diving. You can drag a minion into the brush to check for wards. If they start hitting you, well, there's indeed a ward in there. 3.75% of all Kassadins AFK. The next closest champion is Yasuo at 1.51%. I don't know how useful this is, but maybe next time you have a Cass in your game, you'll be more prepared. You can toggle the movement prediction option to help things seem a bit more smooth and less laggy when playing. Turret plating falls at 14 minutes, which also means if you can get an early rift off before then, you can get a lot of extra gold by using it. If you go invisible and then TP, it'll seem like your teleport got cancelled. This also means you can make some unexpected entrances. There are a lot of abilities you can cast and then flash after, giving the other team less time to react. Some include Shen E, Aurelia R, Yasuo Q, and so on. Hey, if you're enjoying the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Thank you. You can get turret plating gold a lot further away than you think. If you're playing Tryndamere, you can use your W to determine if an enemy is in a bush. If there's someone there, your W ability will light up. When Baron is up, place your ward right behind it to make it difficult for the enemy team to clear. This one's pretty well known, but for those who don't know, you can upgrade your abilities by holding control and the ability you want to upgrade. You can set your spells to be cast using a guide in the settings. Most people prefer shift plus the ability. Anivia can still TP even if she's in her egg form. If you're in the brush and start auto-attacking minions, then you'll know the bush is warded. However, in order to do this, you need to have auto-attack on. You can teleport to any allied unit, which includes Heimer turrets, J4 flags, Zyra plants, etc. But most importantly, Zac blobs. Zac blobs are good to know because it will almost guarantee his respawn. 12 to 15 CS, depending on the level, is equivalent to 1 kill, so if you're down like 13 CS, then you're pretty much down 1 kill in gold. By default, you can use your F keys to move your camera on your team and gain information easier. You can QSS to get out of a Mord ult. You can use third-party apps to decide if you should dodge or not, which is 100% worth doing in the right circumstances. Sometimes you can actually tell if someone is in the brush by just clicking through it. If I click here and somebody's in the brush, my champion will slightly dodge around it and not walk in a straight line. It's very hard to see, but it can be useful if you end up catching it. If you're trying to take Scuttle, use some form of CC to break its shield to take it quicker. You have time to ward, back, and then buy a sweeper, and this can be very helpful as a jungler. This was in my last vid, but Fior's ult can only go on the real clone. This works for any champion with clones. Echo can use his ult to get right back to where he was if you buy fast enough. Use training mode to check your ping before hopping into a ranked game. Swain support currently has the highest win rate at 53.7% in Iron and Bronze. Malzahar mid has the highest win rate at 53.5% in Silver. Nami support at 53.6% in Gold. Malphite top at 53.1% for Plat. Galio mid at 53.4% for Diamond. And Skarner jungle at an insane 64.8% for Masters and above. At the start of laning phase, you can drag your wave so it's guaranteed to push to you. You can enable timestamps in your settings so you can see when people used their abilities and determine how much longer their summoner spells are on cooldown. Anyways, that is 5 minutes of potentially useful League of Legends information. I know it's not as long as my last video, but I tried to include as much information as possible that wasn't already super well known. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and dropping a sub. Also, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the recent support on my latest videos. It really means a lot. Yesterday, I woke up and my video was on the top page of Reddit, which is freaking crazy, so thank you again. I look forward to continuing to make videos in the future. Also, if you made it this far into the video, you're the real MVP. Alright, I hope you all have a great day. Bye! Yo, so I've been playing this game for a while now, and over the years I've pretty much asserted myself as a top lane main, mainly because that's the only role I play. But anyways, what I've come to realize is there are certain problems that only top laners run into. So here are 10 problems only top laners will understand. Having to leash the jungle. Alright, so it's not that I hate leashing the jungle, it's just really annoying, especially in certain situations. Those certain situations mainly being if you have a level 1 or 2 power spike and you get to lane a little late, they can start smacking minions before you can, and you don't get to abuse that early game, which really sucks. And I know we are saying that there's a bot lane, and bot lane always has to leash too, but here's the thing, is they have 2 people, you have 1, so they did get it done a lot faster. And here, instead of like being able to abuse level 1, I just get smacked with a stick. And as much as I like being smacked with a stick, I just rather not. Ah yes, getting rift dropped in your lane. Yeah, it turns out this freaking purple eyeball thing is on the top side, so if you or your jungler happen to be behind, most likely you're gonna get this purple potato hitting your tower. Not like you weren't already behind as it is, but yeah, I actually ended up getting a double kill on this one. Not the best example, I got pretty lucky, but anyways, tank matchups can be super boring. Now, this isn't all the time. Sometimes tank matchups can be fun, but there comes a point where if you're both tanky enough, like an Ornn against a Mundo here, you pretty much just smack each other around all the time, and it just becomes a wet noodle fest. No one really kills anyone anymore. Like, I'm not gonna freaking kill Mundo here. No, there's absolutely no way. But yeah, yeah. You're on your own island. Top lane is by far the least active role. Granted, there are only 5 roles. Still, even though bot lane is the same geographically, at least there are 2 people on each side than like top, where it's just you and the other guy. I've literally had games where I've had 0 kill participation by 20 minutes. Granted, I'm really bad at the game, so it doesn't mean much, but it's still pretty sucky. It's a great place for introverts to be though. Getting ganked. I already know what you're thinking, is that every lane gets ganked and you're right, but here's the difference. Top lane is ridiculously long, and I know it's the same as bot lane too, but there's no Thresh Lantern that's gonna save you, there's no Braum that's gonna shield for you, it's just me, myself, and I. You get ganked, you're pretty much screwed. It's just one of the easiest lanes to gank and also one of the hardest to escape from. In my completely unbiased opinion, of course. Winning lane and then bot feeding. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna make this one pretty fast because it's more of my personal experience than anything. But every time I win top, it seems like bot just starts inting. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't. I think it's just my experience, but maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just me playing top lane and being super biased in it. Definitely not. There's no way, right? But it's not even mid lane necessarily. It's usually bot. So I don't know what it is, but just thought I'd throw that one out there. Clash banners scared the crap out of me. Okay, so I don't know if this is just me or not, which is why I'm mainly putting this in this video. But at 2:15, every time the clash banner pops up there, every time. And on the blue side, it scares me the most. I think it's because it's in the top right corner and catches my eye. But every time it catches my eye, I feel like I'm getting ganked or something. It's just that small movement. All right, so again, I don't know if this is just me or not, but let me know if I'm going crazy. Having to go back to lane after an invade. Alright, a lot of people like to invade, and that's totally fine. It can be fun, but most people want to keep fighting or keep chasing. But us top laners have to walk across the entire map to get back to our lane. So we usually end up getting back to lane late or having to burn TP. Sometimes we even get chased on the other side of the map walking up because the other team is invading on that side. And as you can see, a lot of the time it doesn't even end up working out. Split pushing and your team dying. Alright, so this one's for all my fellow split pushers out there. Basically, whenever I'm split pushing, the rest of my team's in a 4v5, but they always want to engage the 4v5. It just like seems to always happen, you know. It's just one of those things, and then they always usually end up dying because it is a 4v5. And then you get the young question mark ping. It just happens. I feel like that's honestly like almost its own separate one. Like whenever you're the last one alive on your team, you're gonna get the question mark ping. It's bound to happen. Teemo. Yeah, Teemo. I don't think I really need to say much about this thing. Everybody already knows. Hey, here's the thing. I don't really even feel like Teemo is that hard of a champion to beat in lane, as I show a clip of me losing to a Teemo, but it's just more annoying than anything. Like, I mean, you guys already know, but like his shot, yeah, everyone else complains because they have to deal with Teemo in general, but us top laners have to deal with it the entire time in the laning phase too. So, you know, honor your top laner. That's all I'm saying. Also, there should never be a champion that forces the entire team to buy a sweeper. That's just messed up. Anyways, those are 10 things that only top laners will understand. But, yeah. Thanks for watching. And please enjoy this clip of me soloing Teemo.
Valorant is a 5 versus 5 shooter where you'll attack or defend strategic points on the map. Valorant is all about using your abilities and combining them with your lethal gunplay to outplay your opponents. Download it now on playvalorant.com.
Starting out with any new project management software usually feels something like this. Where do you even start? Well, you've probably got some to-dos written down somewhere, right? Let's drop those in here. There we go. Let's give these some due dates in the order they need to be completed. Sure would be helpful to have these all mapped out on a calendar.
Welcome to the League of Legends Honest Champion Review, featuring Yasuo, the Unforgiven. As in, anyone who mains this champion is probably unforgiven by all their friends, because holy crap, this dude makes my head hurt. Yasuo is notoriously one of the most annoying and fun champions in League. Fun to play as, not against. God, no one likes to play
glimmer of hope you see. That's me.
That was nuts. I was like, what am I? I actually played pretty good as support in the last game. I guess I'm strong, but fuck these people, man. They always stick me in the fucking jungle. I'm not about to play with those people. I'm sorry. So, I'm not about to play with them people. So, let me just start up and when the fuck you gonna tell me what the fuck I am? Get out of here. I caught it first. Oh. I gotta wait 4 minutes. It's okay, bet.
Hello Summoners and welcome back to another Pro Guides video. My name is Christoph and today we're going to be talking about some pretty big changes coming on patch 11.1. This patch will bring the preseason to its end, and with that, the official launch of Season 11 will be upon us. With it being the first patch of the new ranked season, this will be the last chance that Riot will have to make sure that we start off the year as smooth as possible, so that the changes we see here should be pretty significant. But before we get into all of that, today's question of the day is, what changes do you think Riot still needs to make before the new season? But wait until you've watched the whole video, because I think you'll have an idea of what's on the list of upcoming changes. And then if you think something is being swept under the rug that may still be an issue next season, let us know in the comments down below. Alright guys, starting off, let's talk about each item buff, why it's happening, and what we think of the change. For all Grievous Wound items, the debuff duration will be going from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. This change is being made for a pretty obvious reason. Out of all the builds that people have been messing around with, some of the most successful revolve around surviving burst and healing a ton afterwards, and there are builds for it across multiple roles. If you've seen a Swain with a Zanya's Riftmaker, an Aatrox or Fiora with Ravenous Hydra, Gore Drinker and Sterix Gauge, or any ADC building Immortal Shield Bow and Bloodthirster, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The problem is, if you can't burst these targets down from 100 to 0, they can often heal back to full in just a couple of seconds. This change is aimed at making sure that your Grievous Wounds last longer so they don't get a second of time to heal up. But I'm honestly not too happy with this change. The problem is buffing Grievous Wounds either by the intensity of the effect or time it lasts, in my opinion, isn't a healthy option for targeting healing from items. Instead, I think the healing from items should be brought down. This is so that you aren't indirectly nerfing champions that rely on healing from abilities like Vlad and Fiddle just to nerf certain item builds. Shralia's Battle Song is seeing its movement speed go up from 40 to 60%. The idea behind Enchanter Mythics is Moonstone Renewer for healing in extended fights, Imperial Mandate to add some extra damage when you're going aggressive, and Shralia's Battle Song when you want to give your allies some extra engage power. The thing is, both Moonstone and Imperial Mandate are just too juicy to pass up at the moment, since they aren't tied to a longer active cooldown, and you can proc them several times in a single fight. With extra movement speed being given to Shralia's, it serves as a tool to enable your team much better, but only time will tell if that makes it worth more than the less situational items. Archangel's Staff and Seraph's Embrace are having their AP up from 60 to 65, with the Sapphire Crystal in Archangel's build path being replaced by an Amplifying Tome. With the build path already including Tear of the Goddess, the extra Sapphire Crystal takes up an item slot without actually providing any type of meaningful stat. Being able to pick up the Amp Tome at least gives a tiny bit more power to your power curve as you're farming out the finished item. The extra 5 AP on the finished item is technically a buff, but I'm not really seeing that affect the power of any of the champs that build it. I'd really like to see some ability haste added, even if it's just to the evolved Seraphs. With the shield being lost, I think this would be a great way to show the power spike of fully stacking up the passive without suddenly providing an insanely strong active. Lastly, Ionian Boots of Lucidity is getting an increase in ability haste, going from 15 to 20. Ability haste can be a lot harder to build on certain AP champs than AD ones, especially supports. While Moonstone Renewer may grant a haste mythic passive, it's only 5 per item, and not all supports want to be forced into Moonstone just for the mythic stats, as they may prefer the damage and movement speed from Imperial Mandate's procs. The thing is, I don't think this actually solves the issue of being unable to get haste at all. As someone who enjoys playing enchanters from time to time, usually when they ban Malphite because he's extremely OP right now, I really do miss the cooldown reduction you would get from picking up Ardent or Redemption. Maybe we can get it back on the completed items without it being part of Forbidden Idol. If I am autofilled in support, I actually do hate the feeling that I need Cosmic Drive on a support just to be able to shield and heal at a reasonable rate. Next up, we have some item adjustments. These aren't necessarily buffs or nerfs, but rather shifting power from one place to another in favor of healthier gameplay. The first change listed here is shifting damage from upfront burst into stats. The items affected are Duskblade of Drakthar, Prowler's Claw, or remember the first video when items came out and I said Prowler's Crawl? Gosh, that was a funny video. Hextech Rocket Belt, Night Harvest, Trinity Force, Gore Drinker, and Stridebreaker. Burst damage has been pretty rampant though all of preseason. In fact, it's such a strong playstyle that you could even thrive on a marksman if you were building Eclipse or Duskblade and Collector, relying on your opening burst of damage more than the consistent DPS that makes up the identity of the marksman class. This is obviously pretty unhealthy for the game, and as a result, we're seeing all that damage toned back. But Riot doesn't want to completely choke out the champions that rely on these items and builds to be successful. The damage is actually just going to be redistributed into the item stats so that you can get the damage out over a few seconds, not a few frames. If you're interested in the exact changes, check out our video from a few days ago detailing this part specifically. Runaan's Hurricane is receiving a pretty big adjustment, seeing its cost drop from 3,400 to 2,500 gold, having its 25 AD fully removed, and the pickaxe in its build path being changed to a dagger. On top of that, the passive bolts will no longer scale from 40% to 70% of your attack damage, and will instead be 40% all game. Compared to its sister items, Runaan's is way too expensive. All three other items that build out of Zeal just cost 2,500 gold. Power spike on those items may be weaker in some cases, but they are also much quicker, making it way more worth, even against melee heavy teams where Runaan's would otherwise be super valuable thanks to the cleaving damage. The only champs that build Runaan's currently are Crit Kaisa, Ashe, and Twitch. For pretty much all other marksmen, you're going to be seeing situational Zeal items fit best. With this change bringing its cost in line with other items, it'll be a great choice against melee heavy teams as almost any marksman, giving you potential for some pretty high damage if you can constantly pump attacks into 3 targets at once. The last item adjustment we're seeing is to Muramana. The shock passive will go back to applying on hit and from spells of all damage types. The total cost will be going from 2,600 to 2,900 gold, and the Sapphire Crystal in the build path is being replaced by a longsword, similar to the buff Archangel's staff is getting. Additionally, the shock passive damage is being lowered from 4% to 2.5%, but the passive will now be 2.5% of mana converted into AD, up from 2%. So just on 10.25, Muramana was changed so that only physical damage spells could apply the shock passive. This was done because of how overtuned the item was when built on mages. We even did a video talking about how the build was so broken on Orianna that a player used it to break 1,000 LP in Korea. However, this poses a couple of issues. What about when you damage someone with Ezreal's E or his ult? What about Kai'Sa's W? Instead of adjusting the shock passive to scale with AD or anything complicated like that, the shock damage was just lowered overall, and instead the power was pushed to the AD conversion passive of Awe. I kind of hope they bump that up.
Alright, so we're good now. Let's get it.
That glimmer of hope you see, that's me.
Yes, sir.
Gang, 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 gang. I was playing. What you stupid? Gotta stay away from the folks up there. That boy got a suit on. Boy, you look like James. Boy, you look like James Bond over that bit, boy. On everything. That's James. That's 2021 James. Cause he got the mask on.
That glimmer of hope you see.
Nah, I was trying to
That's me.
I was trying to tell Grim what to play on Battlefront 2. On everything, boy. They gave that nigga a gold watch when he got that job. On everything. That boy look like he a mission. Hell no. A stack. They know not to give me that much money because I ain't coming back. I'm gonna come. I was trying to get in touch with Grim. He playing. That shit looks scary as it. Huh? That's where you do the pictures at and shit. That's where you go to goddamn. That's the interrogation room right there, bro. You walk in there, you see somebody getting tortured. Oh damn, bro. Yeah, where you at, my nigga? You in like a prison or something? No, that was Mission Impossible. So you're in a bay. I'm in a what? A bay. Oh, I know where you work. I did something like that before. It's like rooms there, and people have to figure out how to get out of them and stuff. Yeah, it's an escape room. I did that before. That's dope. Oh, that's fire, bro. That's fire. Did they pay you pretty good up there? It's always like 14, but with the tips it being
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Crash the
30
mountain
seconds
upon
until minions spawn.
That boy, he putting numbers on the board. Both of y'all boys at work. I'm at work too. I'm on Twitch.
Them boys is at work.
What you streaming, League of Legends?
Yeah.
Nice.
Minions have spawned.
We gotta get on that. Battlefront too later.
Yeah, we gonna get on that shit. Imp, you gotta get that shit, man.
It's gonna take
I
like a week to download.
It'll take a day. It'll take a day.
Yo, your Killer Instinct is still downloading, bro? Yes. At this moment, it's still downloading. How? Because they moved my Xbox and it's like furthest part of the house. Dang, the niggas relocated your whole life. Exactly. Like, I played it a little bit, but I never put the character down. So, they said internet acting up and we're gonna pop out.
That Killer Instinct, that fire.
Beauty can stir one's heart or stop it.
Oh yeah, cause I already know how to that combo breaker and the beyond that probably. Goddamn it. Combo breaker. When you said you talking about when he turned evil? Alright.
True
You don't
gems
never
sparkle even in the
that boy
absence.
usually turn evil on. For real, bro. It's just a game. Just a game. We won't get. That's gonna be the first nigga to die because of a card game.
I
don't know about that
all life forms, except yours.
That shit epic. Yeah, I know you mean. I know, bro. They even got guns in that shit, don't they? They got a pistol on him.
Beauty and life.
Bro, you gotta join my stream, bro. This shit getting intense. I'm learning this game more and more. It's a MOBA.
The best weapons are beauty. Honor the mountain. Just as the mountain is eternal, so is hope. To protect all.
Hey, Grim calling me. Alright. Yo, Grim.
No, I didn't see stars.
Yo, Grim, yeah.
Gems hurt, don't they?
We were all just in there. In the car. Ah, fuck. I'm tripping. Hold up. You was wondering what to play on Battlefront 2, bro?
Sir, that I am. I played a game of it. I don't get it.
What did you?
Seems cool.
I mean, it's just it's like literally like the teams on there are so big, and it's like if we can put a squad together, we'll just be like 6 people out of 30 people that fighting for the same team as everybody else, and we can get shit. But then you can do something like Heroes versus Villains, where you only choose like the more you play and do this, like capture points, you get good credits, and then you're able to buy like different heroes like this.
An enemy has been slain.
Enough credits to do it.
Gems always
Chad's gonna be on there soon. I'm gonna be on there with you after this game right here, so. And I fucking love stuff.
What, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so?
Each life
I'm about to send
is
my
a rare
stream to
jewel.
the chat. It's a match of League, man. I finally found one without toxic people, so it's gonna probably be about 20 minutes. Yeah, we're 6 minutes in, so probably another 20.
We see beauty in the stars, and they see beauty in us.
Yeah, we will.
An ally has been slain.
I bet.
The heavens strike swiftly. Easy on the eyes, no time.
An enemy has been slain.
An aspect's work is never done. Then one of these.
An enemy has been slain.
To truly see the stars, I climbed. Sometimes life is worth dying. Stand against me. Wither in my rage. Rest easy. Memories are my worst enemies. Let's climb that mountain, shall we? Demacia was my home. The stars are my destination. show you something. Love is simply beauty crystallized. I climbed Mount Targon. No rest for the chosen of Targon. Elegance never helped win a fight, but it never hurt. The stars freed me from myself. This world's fragile beauty must be preserved.
An ally has been slain.
The mountain's mysteries are known to me.
Rampage.
I am no longer the man I once was.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Truth is worth fighting for, but beauty is worth dying for. This crystal will never crack. Let me make myself crystal clear.
Executed.
Challenges await. Always useful. Human life is fleeting. A mountain's life less so. But stars are eternal. We're all headed toward the same inevitable end. No need to rush. I serve life, but deal death.
Unstoppable.
The mountain reveals the harshest truths in our souls.
An enemy has been slain.
Never submit. I may be merciful, but Targon is This question is unique for each of us. We must serve life.
Has been slain.
I give it freely to all. The stars keep the darkness.
A summoner has disconnected. turret. Shut down.
The Protector speaks through me.
Destroyed a turret. Your turret has been An enemy has been slain.
There was a time to run.
Just as the mountain is eternal, so is hope.
Has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain. Godlike. Shut down. An enemy has been slain. Double kill. Triple kill. Quadra kill. Aced. Your team has destroyed a turret.
To truly see the
team has
stars,
destroyed a
I
turret.
found
Victory!
That was a really good game. Alright guys, till next time. It was a good stream. Peace.